Every year, thousands of projects are getting built by students, but 95% of them actually get rejected. They are looking for people who can design systems, think of architecture, and then build software. Trust me, we have come a long way since students were building the Netflix clones, the Amazon clones. Trust me, those aren't going to work anymore. Recruiters and founders have moved way beyond those projects in your resume. Skim out these resumes nowadays. We'll talk about
9 such project ideas
that you can build for your next internship. These projects will make you stand out of the crowd. In 2025, in 2026, recruiters and founders are looking for real life problem solvers. And these 9 projects will help you with that.
Every year, thousands of projects are getting built by students while they're applying for their next internship or job, but 95% of them actually get rejected. Is it because that they don't have a fancy UI or a scalable backend system? I don't know. But in 2025 and going forward, what I know is this is not going to make the cut. If you're building your next project, make sure you think like a builder. So recruiters and founders aren't just looking for engineers. They are looking for people who can design systems, think of architecture, and then build software. Because trust me, AI can do probably 90% of the coding jobs today. But what it can't do, it can't think of solutions to real world problem statements as much as you can. As much as you can empathize with a problem statement or a business statement that your company has, probably AI can't do that. So let's play around that. Let's solve for real world problem statements and build your next project solving a very realistic problem statement. In this session, we'll talk about 9 such project ideas that you can build for your next internship, that you can add to your resume before you apply to that next job that you want to. Among these 10 project ideas, we'll have 5 full stack or mobile projects, 4 AI agents or very agentic software that you can build. And trust me, these aren't going to be your regular to-do list applications or your next Amazon clone or Netflix clone that you put on your resume. Trust me, those aren't going to work anymore. Recruiters and founders have moved way beyond those projects in your resume. So these 10 project ideas that I'm going to talk about is definitely going to make a difference in your resume if you apply the necessary ideas that I'm going to talk about. So as we go through these project ideas, one major thing we'll talk about is why these project ideas stand out. Along with that, there will be some key learning takeaways that we'll see, which are very specific to any kind of tech stack or domain that you might associate with in the near future. And these takeaways are very, very crucial in SDLC. What I mean by SDLC is a software development lifecycle. These takeaways remain very significant and very common to any tech stack or any domain that you'll pick. So the first project, it's called SkillSwap. It's a peer-to-peer micro-learning platform. So what it is, it's a web app where users teach each other micro skills. So for example, any user can come onto the platform and say, teach me React, I'll teach you SQL. Teach me singing, I'll teach you dancing. Users can create sessions, schedule, chat, and review the feedback, review the performance of how they delivered the content. Why it stands out? It demonstrates a marketplace model, which is probably one of the most used business models out there, right? You talk about the Amazons, you talk about the Flipkarts of the world, right? Everyone is running on a marketplace model. It will demonstrate matchmaking, bookings, and multi-role design. When I say multi-role design, so just think about it. There will be different aspects of user types. There can be, an admin side. There can be a teacher side. There can be a learner side, right? There will be a role which will demand for a particular service. There will be a role which will supply a particular service. So there will be the demand side as well as the supply side. And trust me, this is generally every marketplace model works on. There's a demand side, there's a supply side. That's exactly what you're going to learn from this project. Let's talk about the key learning takeaways from this project. Firstly, software design. You'll implement a modular architecture, services for user, booking and matchmaking. System design. You'll build a matchmaking system, understand real-time notifications with WebSockets, handle concurrent sessions and whatnot. Let's talk about AI integration. How could we miss that, right? You're building a project in 2025. Trust me, there has to be some sort of AI integration, isn't it? You add a skill match recommender using embeddings like OpenAI. You recommend users things to learn based on their recommendations or what they have been interested in on their feed. Trust me, once you start building a recommendation engine, you just fall in love with it, right? You understand how platforms like YouTube work, how platforms like Instagram work. That's the power of recommendation engine. Once you understand the core crux of how a recommendation engine works, trust me, AI will start looking easy for you. What could be the potential tech stacks that you can use to build this project? You can use React for the front end. And when I say React, you can go with React Native if you want to build a mobile first software. You can use React.js if you want to build a web platform. For the backend, you can use something like a Node.js along with MongoDB for the database. You can also use LangChain for your AI integrations. The second project, Mind Journal, is an AI-driven emotional wellness tracker. What is Mind Journal, you may ask? So it's basically a journaling app that tracks users' emotions through text, visualizes mood trends, and suggests personalized activities. Let's talk about why it stands out. It merges mental health and AI personalization. Trust me, this is one of the hottest niches in consumer technology in the recent days. It shows your ability to integrate machine learning and AI into consumerism. Talking about the key learning takeaways, let's talk about software design first. You'll learn MVC design. What is MVC? It's model view controller design. You'll learn how to build a modular backend, right? Of course, you'll build services which will, enable you to build features like a journal or analytics, and you'll build specific AI services as well. Let's talk about the system design. Data pipelines for logging user activity and generating insights. Coming to the third point, AI integration. You'll do NLP sentiment analysis. NLP stands for natural language processing. You'll do emotion clustering using Hugging Face or OpenAI models. What are the tech stacks you could probably use for this project? Again, very similar, but probably for front end, I'd highly recommend using something like a Next.js. For the back end, use something like Python and Fast API. Trust me, this is one of the fastest growing backend frameworks that is getting adopted by startups. On the DBMS side, on the database side, you can use something like a Postgres. On the AI integration, try out Hugging Face. It's a really cool resource. It's a really cool platform apart from OpenAI, which also has a lot of open source models that you can probably train locally and deploy it on your own servers. The third project, Local Lens. Local Lens is a hyper-local news and community bulletin. Let's deep dive into what it is. So it's a platform for users to post and read verified local updates, events, alerts, announcements, you name it, within a 5 to 10 kilometer of radius. Interesting, right? So that's exactly where the hyper-local vibe comes into the picture, right? It's not a platform where you'll get a news or a bulletin of a place 100 kilometers, apart from you. This is only for a 5 to 10 kilometer radius. That's what hyperlocal means in this system. Why it stands out? It shows mastery of geolocation systems, content moderation, and feed design. And trust me, these three things are highly sought after for full stack engineers in the market. Key learning takeaways. Firstly, software design. You learn about modular microservice architecture. There are majorly two kinds of backend architectures. One is monolith, another is microservice. You learn about how to build auth systems, how to build feed systems, how to do moderation of content, and how to build notification systems. Talking about system design, you learn to build feed ranking algorithms. You learn to build content storage optimizations. You'll use tools like Firebase, Elasticsearch. Thirdly, you'll also build scalably ready APIs. Trust me, when you build an API, if you don't know what an API is, API stands for Application Programming Interface, right? Whenever you build a backend, generally you'll have to expose APIs that serve the front end. API is literally a waiter, serving you food from the kitchen to your table. That's a very good example of how you can think what an API is. Talking about the AI integration, AI content moderation using GPT-4 is going to be really classy if you can integrate it into the project. Talking about the tech stack that you can use for this project, try to build a mobile app, as you might be feeling it already, that this is a project or this is a product that probably people would want it in their hands, right, as they go out or they are sitting in a local train or something like that. So always think of use cases when you build a project, right? Where is this project or where is this product going to be used? If you feel it's a platform which probably users will open on laptops, build a web platform for it, build a web app for it. If you feel that this is a product that people want it handy at different places, right? Probably they are out in the bank, or they're out in the market, or they're going in a train or in a bus. Probably they want to open this platform and see, right, or use. Then you probably should go for a mobile application. Similarly, for this project, probably a good idea would be build a mobile app for it. Feel free to use something like a React Native or Flutter. On the backend side, go for Node.js integrated with Firebase. Of course, Firebase enables you to do a lot of ML integrations from their dashboard itself, helps you build a lot of notification systems from their dashboard itself. They have something called FCM, which is Firebase Cloud Messaging. For geolocation, feel free to use Google Maps API, or you can also try something with OpenAI as well. The fourth project, Commute. It's a carbon efficient travel app. Let's talk about what it is. It's a route planner that shows sustainable paths, cycling, walking, EV routes, and tracks your carbon dioxide, CO2 levels saved. Why it stands out? It's real, it's data backed, and is impactful. I think it also showcases that you also think for the nature, for the environment, and you try to solve for innovative problem statements. It shows your ability to combine APIs, analytics, and environmental logic. The takeaways: software design, let's talk about it. You'll be able to implement a clean architecture. Firstly, software design, building a clean architecture from scratch for modular root services. Building a clean architecture from scratch for these modular root services. System design, integrating multiple data APIs such as maps, your carbon metrics that you're going to showcase, how much saved, how much wasted, and also caching. Caching is a concept which all software engineers should learn, right? It saves a lot of API response timings. It improves the front-end performance. You might see that a lot of times on any online app, if you don't have an internet connection, still you can see some data on that app, right? Probably that first post is still there even if you don't have internet, right? So that app caches that data or saves a snapshot of that data locally. On the AI integration, you'll be able to add a route recommender using reinforcement learning or a heuristic algorithm to balance time versus eco score. The tech stacks which you can probably use to build this, again, probably a mobile application would be the perfect fit for this. You can use something like Flutter, which is Google's cross-platform mobile application framework. You write code once and that same code will be able to render on both Android and iOS, right? That's what a cross-platform framework is. So is React Native, right? But probably for this project, I want you guys to try something like a Flutter. For the backend, you can use Node.js or Python Fast API as you may like. For the routing logic, you can use something like Open Root Service APIs. For the caching and database parts, feel free to use something like Firebase and Redis. So finally, the fifth and last project for your full stack project list, Campus Hub. It's the college super app. So probably this is one of the project ideas that I'm sure a lot of you might be already having. But yeah, why not build it? Why not build a cool version of it? It's a unified campus app for events, lost and found, announcements, community polls, and it's actually designed for real deployment inside your college. This is not a project that stays on your resume or just on your GitHub profile. You can actually get users for this project, and very easily. Just look around you. All these peers, all these friends of yours will be the users. So this is a great opportunity for you to show some real traction, some real numbers on a project. Trust me, real numbers matter quite a lot when recruiters look for a resume or a project or a product that someone has worked upon. It showcases that you can actually build something that real people are using, right? And trust me, that's the biggest validation any student can get. Why it stands out is deployable. It's easier for you to get users readily. It's relatable, right? Probably you'll be able to understand and vibe with the problem statement much easier than any other problem statement. Of course, you are facing the problems on a day-to-day basis in your daily life being in this college. It also demonstrates a multi-feature modular design and scalability planning. What are the key learning takeaways? Talking about software design, you learn about layered architecture, which includes data ingestion, summarization, and dashboarding. Secondly, system design. You learn about caching and retrieval systems. Thirdly, AI integrations. What more can you do with AI? You can build entire RAG pipelines with something like OpenAI or Claude. You can also do financial NLP parsing. What are the tech stacks you can use for this? Probably you could use something like LangChain, Pinecone, Streamlit, and Fast API for the backend. Second, LegalBot. It's an AI contract risk analyzer. talking about what it is, you can essentially upload contracts, you can get your clause categorization, risk scores, and plain English text suggestions. Why it stands out? It teaches you how to handle unstructured text data in a very professional domain or a legal domain. Trust me, this is a commercially viable product and recruiters might love this. The key learning takeaways from this: software design, you learn about microservice for parsing and AI inference services. System design, you'll do secure document processing, concurrency in file parsing as well. For the AI integration, you can fine tune GPT or Llama models. Llama is by Facebook and Meta, so feel free to check it out. It's also open source. It's a great alternative for OpenAI. The tech stacks which you can use for this are Fast API for the backend, LangChain, of course Llama as mentioned, MongoDB for the database, and Streamlit. Third, Meeting Mind. It's an AI meeting action extractor. It's basically an AI that listens to your Zoom or Google Meet meetings and outputs the meetings into transcriptions, action items, and follow-up tasks synced with any kind of task management software like Notion or Jira. Why it stands out? It's a perfect example of AI productivity automation. Recruiters are able to see workflow automation, not just a model demo. The key learning takeaways from this: software design, you learn about asynchronous event-driven architecture using something like message queues. System design, you'll be building pipelines for streaming audio to text to actions. On the AI integration part, you'll be doing speech-to-text integrations via Whisper, alongside doing GPT summarization, named entity recognition. The tech stacks which you can use for this are Node.js for the backend, Whisper API for the speech-to-text analysis, GPT-4 by OpenAI, and any kind of task management software's exposed APIs. So you can explore something like Notion for this. The fourth AI project is called Resume Tailor. It's essentially your AI job personalization agent. So what it does, you upload your resume and mention the job description, and you get an optimized version of your resume for that particular job. Why it stands out? Every student can use it, right? It's a real pain point that you're solving for your peers, even inside your college or even outside of your college. Just think about the scale of this. It showcases your skills in text analysis, prompt engineering, and system design for personalization at scale. What are the key learning takeaways? Software design, modular components which you'll make for features like the resume parser, the job maker, or the AI writer. On the system design forefront, you'll build a lot of caching embeddings for quick similarity checks between different resumes that are getting uploaded on your platform. For the AI integration, you'll do a lot of text-based analysis and prompt-based content writing. On the tech stack, feel free to use something like OpenAI, Fast API for the backend, and for the front end, feel free to use something like React. So for the final AI project in this AI project list that I was sharing is called Research Synth. It's an AI paper review agent. What it does, you upload multiple research papers. The agent synthesizes the findings, the common trends, and generates a summarized literature review. Why it stands out? It's a high impact AI tool. It's going to be used by researchers across the world. Potentially a lot of use cases even in your own college as well as colleges outside of this or even outside of India. Because trust me, there are a lot of researchers, in countries outside of India, and they are looking for tools and products that can help them in their daily lives. Talking about the key learning takeaways, software design, you build a modular multi-agent system. You build a document parser, an embedding store, and a synthesis agent. Talking about the system design, you'll be learning about efficient vector database querying as well as async processing. On the AI integration part, you'll learn about multi-document RAG along with concept clustering and auto visualization. For the tech stack, feel free to use something like Llama Index, LangChain, or Streamlit. So these were your 9 project ideas that is going to make you stand out. Trust me, we have come a long way since students were building the Netflix clones, the Amazon clones, right? We are way beyond that time. Recruiters just, skim out these resumes nowadays. If you just apply with a resume like this, probably you won't be even seen among the crowd. So try to build projects that stand out. The projects that we discussed today will make you stand out in 2025. These projects will make you stand out of the crowd. Why? Think again. You are solving real life problem statements. In 2025, in 2026, recruiters and founders are looking for real life problem solvers. And these 10 projects will help you with that.